Test 1, 2, 3. Today we've got medium impact news at 8:30. And then at 10 a.m. CB consumer confidence orange folder. And at 9 o'clock we got some yellow impact already passed. All right. So today, being Tuesday, essentially the first trading day of the week, high probability setups are most likely going to happen around that old orange folder news. That's when we should see a spike in liquidity or a spike in volatility. But other than that, the trade that I was looking for earlier today in the morning was grabbing these highs here. I tried to catch it using the 8:30 news driver. Unfortunately, it just ran out of juice. I put my stop loss to break even, and then it essentially dropped down past yesterday's first presentation fair value gap. It touched yesterday's morning first presentation, and then it popped up to these highs. So I wasn't at the computer when this happened, but once this trade idea failed, I essentially cut myself for the pre-New York session, and I'm going to be continuing in the morning. Now, this was the trade I wanted to take post 9:30, but it looks like it's not going to happen. And overall, looking at where we're at from a daily perspective for the 9:30 open. Okay, so doing a bit of tape reading here. Price is pushing up into this weekly fair value gap here. Our overall draw is up here, as I've mentioned before. That's our weekly draw. Our daily draw, you can see yesterday during the US holidays, price broke down into the daily fair value gap. And then today just shot right back up. It's sitting at an odd level. It's sitting right above this daily blue fair value gap. It's sitting underneath the weekly fair value gap. So it's kind of sandwiched between these two levels here. And ultimately, a bigger draw on liquidity is going to be right here. These are London highs from earlier today. This is a really good level to tap if we are bullish. And later on, there's higher levels as well that can be managed as well. But all in all, these levels right here are of interest to me for today's trading session. But we'll see what 9:30 gives us, how it opens up, and we'll see if we'll be able to catch a run today. we got 6 minutes till the opening bell. So on the daily, this is what we're looking at. Like, right, not the happiest with the levels that we're at, but intraday we'll try to find something. On a 4-hour perspective, I really like this, this wick lower with a pushback higher pretty aggressively. This is ultimately, saying that this push to 21,559 is more probable than it going lower, as we've disrupted the waters below us and we have smooth levels above us. But again, we'll be trading into these key levels that have been rejected previously. This new week opening gap from 519 on the top left here, which is something just to be wary of. And then on the 50 or on the 1 hour chart, we're kind of pushing into this. And let me mark this in blue here. This bullish 1 hour fair value gap here. We're closing nicely. The bondies are staying above the midpoint, which is something that we do want to see when it comes to fair value gaps being respected. But all in all, you can see how price is sitting in the lower half of that new week opening gap, and it's kind of pushing up against it. You can see there's a rejection right here from yesterday, from today. The body's managed to close above it, but 4 hours after at 6 a.m., you can see that price started leaving this area. It came right now to touch it. It left it once again within this 1 hour candle that we're in right now, the 9 a.m. candle. And this is, again, it's a negative confluence factor for taking things long. So, if we are taking things long, things are going to have to really look good on the downside to make sure that they're not going to trace further and pulling it back up. On the 15-minute, looking here on the top right chart, the level that we're wanting to target today are these London highs, right? This is a really nice level of liquidity here. Let me put an eyeball here so that all of our attention is being brought to these highs. And what we want to see is a dig into this fairly large RTH gap. So yesterday's close to today's open, or anticipated open in 4 minutes, and then ultimately taking out these highs here. So kind of, if we kind of write why price might go up or why might longs might be a good idea, as one is large RTH gap. We wouldn't we wouldn't want to see midpoint being taken, right? Which would indicate bullish pressure. 2, London highs not taken. 3, daily disruption downside. Okay. So we'll see what price gives us here. That was really interesting here, seeing the structure here on the 1 minute. Price breaking down, creating these relative equal highs, coming back up, and right now it's just rocketing down right before the open. Two minutes open. And let's see what we'll get today. the key time for today, since I don't have any pertinent levels that I'm targeting for early morning, it's going to be 9:50 to 10:10. Going to be this right here. This is going to be our macro time. Macro. Okay, we've just opened up. One 307. Yeah, buy some. So you can see price, it dug into ever so slightly the RTH gap. I'm not fully satisfied with this. For me to take longs, it should dig in a bit more into this RTH gap. It's currently pushing into yesterday's first presentation. You can see here price has pushed into yesterday's first presentation, couldn't break above it, starting to push into the RTH gap. It's currently bouncing off of key fair value gaps from Asia's session and from yesterday's morning. You can see here all of them marked in green. This 1 hour candle here, it touched the new week opening gap and starting to push lower. Right now, I'm more bearish than bullish just because of the recent tag of relative equal highs with the drop lower. Just looking at just like targets to the upside, it's you know, this was the target, but we're clearly respecting this 15-minute fair value up to the downside. So we'll see how low price wants to get today. But as of right now, we don't have today's first presentation yet. This might be it right here. Yeah, this is going to be it. So in 30 seconds, if this doesn't fill, this is going to be Tuesday's New York first presentation fair value gap. And it is overlapping slightly with Asia's first fair value gap. So I will remove Asia's. In 8 seconds, it's going to confirm this. And this is going to be one of the key PD arrays I'll be using for today's structure and structuring a trade. I don't have that many targets to the upside, to be honest, other than this one right here, London highs. That is ultimately what we want to target, but let's see how low price wants to go here. We do have London lows as well that haven't been tagged right here. Okay. So, and then we have Asia's lows as well that haven't been tagged as well. Okay. So these are juicy targets for price to go down to. Doesn't mean that it has to, but it's ultimately here's buy side and here's sell side in terms of the market. What would be nice to see price going down all the way to Asia's lows and London's lows, giving us a reversal and then pushing up into the PM session on the upside. But taking it long from here, not much value. Just price can't be 50-50. Like you have to have a concrete direction on where you think it's going to go. And once you have that, that's when you take the trade. For me, I think on this like live streaming, I would have to be at least 80% confident in a trade for me to take it. Usually I take trades like around like the 70% mark, but I'll start taking things of higher probability. It means less trades. Less trades, more profit. Okay. You can see this 1 hour here. It's kind of pushing right through all these fair value gaps here on that 1 hour. The 4 hour close, it's going to be very bearish. Okay. So far, in terms of key levels, where are we at right now in terms of this high and low here? Are we in the premium or are we in the discount? So right now we're sitting definitely on the discount side of price action. Price is pushing down to push past the end dog of 523, which is Friday's, you know, gap. You can see it pushed right below it. Let's see if it's going to push, you know, into it, use it as resistance, and then push down further. It might just blast right through into today's first presentation. But as of right now, there's nothing here very clear in terms of action. So we'll do a bit of tape reading up until price decides to pick a direction with full confidence. The time frame that I am interested in is 950 to 1010. This is where most likely the trade is going to happen, around that orange folder news. And hopefully before that, we get some structure created with some liquidity and price decides to run in a direction. Okay. You can see this candle here, push into the end dog. It is still closing within it. The second candle here is pushing below it and is currently maintaining its status within this gap here. But again, not much is happening here. All right. See here. Bodies are closing, closing slightly above this PD array here. We might see a push now to this first presentation fair value gap, which I just touched right now. I'm curious to see how it's going to react to it. So you can see here, it rejected today's, or it might in 13 seconds. We'll see how this body closes. Okay, body closed in the lower half of this today's first presentation. But again, this is not a signal to go long or short. The market has to give you more here. Paint a better story. Take a trade. Today in the morning, I did try to take a long. Unfortunately, I got out of break even. It was ultimately, I really thought price came down here, took out these equal lows from the morning session. We had a big pool of buy side liquidity above us. I thought it would just pop up, use this fair value gap as a PD array to push higher. It did push higher a bit. It got halfway to my target and then it just collapsed. So I got off at break even. And what price did is it actually traded to yesterday's 6 a.m. first presentation fair value gap, and then it pushed higher. So wrong time, right bias. Price right now is bouncing between these two PD arrays here. Again, I have no confidence right now taking a short here. It just wouldn't make sense. Not saying that it can't go down, but we do want to see price give a clear direction on where it wants to go here. So right now it's 50-50 for me. It's going to be the London highs or the London lows. And off of this, hopefully in the next 8 minutes, we'll have a bit more direction on where it wants to go. You can see here, rejection off of first presentation. Gun to my head, I think it's short over long. But the way you trade these first presentation fair value gaps, it's not so much of price going into them and you take the trade. It goes into it and then it displaces away from it and then you take that trade. That gives you the confirmation. That's the conservative approach to using these first fair value gaps. They also do work if you take shorts or longs right off of them, but there's a way bigger chance that it's just going to blast right through it. So waiting for that confirmation that price does want to turn around, or it's using it as a key PD right here. So on the 1 minute chart, there's no indication that it's displacing away from it. On the 15 second, there was a small displacement to the downside, but right now it's pushing back up into the 15 second fair value gap that it did create once it essentially pulled away from it. But as of right now, we gotta wait. Hey, Claris. No more trades before 10 a.m. for me. Yeah. It's tricky before. In my personal opinion, I think trades from like 9:30 to 9:50 are the hardest. Because usually price like picks a direction. Like yesterday's price action, Claris. That's kind of foolish of me. Usually when price, hold on, I spilled some coffee on my keyboard. But looking at yesterday's price action, kind of thought about this yesterday and I'm like, this is obvious. When price does something like this, where it just right at 9:30, it just starts pushing in one direction, it's not going to continue pushing up. Usually what it does is it's going to come back down into the untraded RTH gap, like within the next 1 hour. So the smarter move here would have been the short off of the first bearish PD array to go short. So I knew it did that. I just overlooked it. So I wasn't really happy with the long that was taken here. You can see eventually it did go a bit higher than our initial entry, but yesterday was a candidate for shorts. Okay, so if you guys took shorts off of this first presentation, it wouldn't have spanned out. You would have been tapped out right here. No clear displacement off of it. We're using these more of like weighted fair value gaps for supporting a trade bias with more market structure. And it's just not just like this and that's it. There has to be a lot more behind the trade. And right now, I don't have much. Curious to see how this 1 hour is going to close in 13 minutes. If it closes above the midpoint, that's going to be a pretty tell sign that we do want to push higher into these London highs here, marked in yellow on the 15-minute chart. That's kind of where I want price to go. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to manipulate the downside. So we got to be a bit patient here today. Yeah, exactly. Trading Monday. First of all, odds are against you. Second of all, if you chase the market like that, you're trading like you're. I wasn't happy with my trading yesterday at all. I'm like, what a stupid trade. Honestly, it was like a D- trade thinking about it. Last week, my strike weight was pretty high. I was sitting like around like the 75, 80s. This week, one losing trade yesterday, and I had one break-even trade today. So hopefully we get something good. And I'm not going to take half-ass trades. It's going to be clear, concise. And if that means like 2 or 3 trades a week, then so be it. There's this pressure when you're streaming to take a freaking trade. But I gotta unlearn it. It's costing me money. It's costing me hundreds of dollars. Yeah, I do. I have 550K accounts. I don't do 150s anymore because usually I get 1 or 2 payouts and then I get really just my confidence just goes through the roof, and then there's a higher tendency of blowing it after the first or second payout. So I'm like, let me get the cheapest account, let me get that payout. So God forbid that behavior kicks in, it's very easy to rebuy them again, and that's how I stay in the positives through Top Step. But this time, after my next payout, it's gonna be my second payout. I'm not gonna increase my trade size to 2x. I'm just gonna keep it as is and slowly increase it trade over trade. You can see here we've pushed into the RTH opening gap. We stayed in the first quadrant, right? So that's a bullish sign. This might close as a bullish candle, the 1 hour, which will be nice for longs. See, I didn't have a clear displacement from this fair value gap, unfortunately. And, would I be taking a long here? No, I wouldn't. I don't have conviction that price is going to push higher here. And we'll see where we're at. But we got news at 10 o'clock. And then if nothing happens at 10 o'clock, then what's the next trade? It's the silver bullet. The first presentation for Valley Gap, targeting obvious liquidity or inefficiency. So quickly. What we have here. Looking at overall structure, right? On like looking at the 5 minute, like let's take the noise away from the 1 minute here. You can see here, like we took sell side. Sorry, we took buy side right before the open. We pushed down. Technically, this is a market structure shift to the downside, right? On the 1 hour, we've got this. We'll see how it closes, but that's going to be telling for sure as well. I don't really have a clear pool of liquidity right now other than these London highs here. So if price gives us something clear here and price is going to continue to push up, this might be a trade in the morning to these highs here. And it's going to look something like this. Right. That's going to be the level ultimately. And then somehow, again, we'll have to wait for market structure, but again, taking a long to this level. And the flip side is going to be going short here. But if we see this high broken here, it's going to give me conviction that we will go higher. If it decides to stay in this area, then I'm not going to have a bias for now. And I'll have to come back either in the, it's not even right now a candidate for the lunchtime macro. And the lunchtime macro usually gives us a reversal of what happened in the morning session. But if price sits around and moves sideways like this, not much is going to be happening. You can see this candle right here. It punched down into yesterday's first presentation at 6 a.m. It's pushing into Monday's first presentation right now. Again, I don't have much right now to work off it for today's morning session. I do want this 1 hour to close above 21,276. So right now we're currently in the macro from 950 to 1010. For those who don't know what it is, it's essentially where price decides to push for areas of liquidity a lot quicker than when you're not in these times. And the way I got my strike rate up and my gains higher over the last 2 months, I'm just trading by myself, is just trading within these times here. So we have news at 10 o'clock. So let's mark this. We got news right here. And this might be the catalyst to essentially send price to a direction. You can see right now, price isn't doing a whole much. Today, I won't be able to trade the afternoon session, unfortunately. And lunchtime just doesn't make sense either today with this price action. Lunchtime would make sense if we do push these highs, right? So like, let's assume that price, it pushes higher. The lunchtime reversal would be ultimately a market structure shift around this area at 11:30 to 1:30. And we're aiming for the first low after 10 a.m. That's the trade. And the more energetic moves are, the higher probability those trades get. But those are good trades to be a part of. Very easy, a lot easier than trading the 930. And those are one of my favorite trades to take as well. If I ever see a good setup around 11:30, I'll just shoot a random live stream and take a live. But I think those are my two go. They rarely happen, but if they do, they pull in a good chunk of change. All right, you can see price here. It's really, so the most important for Valley Gap, or what I want you guys to have on your charts, is always have Mondays on your charts for the whole week. That's the one here that's marked in red. You can see how many times in the past it respected it. Like look at today, right? Tuesday at 7 a.m. Respect. 8:21, respect. Here, sloppy, right? I'm not going to count it, right? Right when it opened, we respected it. Right now, we ultimately respected it, right? We tried closing above it, but the second candle right after it closed below it, right? So a very strong level. And whenever you're trading into it, just make sure that you have your stop loss and risk. I thought about taking the 943 15-second long, but because of set rules of not trading before 10, it didn't. And of course it played out. Let me see where 943 is here. Oh, like right here, it's taking the long. Yeah. 943. It was taking the short, right? Was it like something like this? Because if it was this, I see your trade. But you're just going short, and the only candle that went in your favor was one 15-second direction candle. Oh, I see. Oh, it's the long. Oh, got it. Yeah. Yeah, okay. You can see here, price, it finally broke fairly higher above the Monday's first presentation fair value gap. Am I going to take a trade before the news? The only time I'll take this is if I'm absolutely sure of where price wants to shoot up exactly 10 o'clock without any retracements. But for now, the play is going to be, let's wait for news to kick out and then let's see where price wants to head. But it should start trending in a direction right after 10 o'clock. Trading's all about patience. You don't have patience, you lose the game. You lose the game. This is like this kind of breakthrough I like. Like you can see how these 1 minute candles, all the bodies really failed to kind of break above the midpoint, and then finally you get a break above the midpoint in the candle, right? So this is, you know, intra price, you know, bullish. If this was post news, like what we have here, we got, you know, a fair value gap. This was past 10 o'clock. This could have been a feasible trade, to be honest. I'm just taking it long there. This probably won't happen. But let's see what price wants to do. Like, where would price go? I think if I was in a trade, I'd be targeting this level right here. London highs. Just some liquidity right there. Minor buy side liquidity. Here's the macro. Here's minor buy side as well here. Minor buy side liquidity. So this is liquidity taken before the open, RTH open, which makes it a higher probability target as well for price to be taken. So we got minor buy side. Tuesdays, so 6 p.m. first presentation for Valley Gap. Like if we do get a trade off of this, it's probably going to stall around this level before it pushes higher. So that might be like a good partial level, right? Partial, maybe partial there. What news for 10 a.m.? It's CB consumer confidence. It's orange impact. It's not red. It's not red. So far, this 1 hour candle is looking really nice. So this is essentially like, am I going to go short from here? No, I'm interested in no shorts. It's done the damage. It's taken out a quarter of the RTH gap. It took out some buy side from London right there. It pushed higher. And right now, I'm looking for like an entry, right? So, you know, if I were to be taking something like, you can see price touching the high of the RTH gap and failing and just kind of pushing away from it. So here's point 2 of why a long would make sense. And it would be really nice to see price come into this level, reject it, and show me that it's not going to go below Monday's first presentation. Let me get rid of this news candle here. Oh no. So miner's taken right there. I don't even think I could have caught this even if it was early on. So miner buy side was just taken. Unfortunate. If pre-news price went back down, rejected this level, I would have taken the long, but and I'm not going to chase price right now. It's going to be foolish of me. But you can see here how price painted the picture of it wanting to go longer, rejecting the upper half of the RTH gap right here. Finally pushed higher, gave us fair value gap to trade off of, but price never went back in here and it just pushed up higher, making this a breakaway gap. We have officially on the 5-minute a market structure shift. Here is going to be a bullish breaker on the 5-minute. Okay, so this won't happen anymore, that trade. What can price do? It can go into this bullish breaker and push higher. What price could do here is it could actually use the 6 a.m. or today 6 a.m. first presentation, pull back lower, give us a small reversal, and then we take it up higher. This is the only thing that I'm seeing as like a continuation trade for like a 2.5 to 1. I'm not in love with it though, this one, right? This was the trade I wanted to happen. And sometimes if the trades you want to take don't happen, just is what it is. You close your books and on the next day. But London highs are going to be targeted here. This is going to be the target that's going to probably be hit over the next hour. I don't see price going back down and taking out lows here. It's done. Damage has been done to the downside. But it's shitty that it gave us no retracements here to get in on price. All right, price is going to be pushing up above the Tuesday first presentation. Oh, I'm not liking this. It might just go straight to these levels right here. And using this as an inversion to the upside. Down, scalp it. Then the RR is going to be fucked too. Taking a trade like this. So on the 15-second, price is rejecting this level here. But because it ran up so much, me trying to catch a trade right here is not something that I want. It'd be really nice to see it kind of come back down to this blue fair value gap and then turn around and push higher. That's honestly the only trade I would be interested in at this point. Looking at the latest price run, 0.618 is right here as well. So from a risk perspective, would make the most sense. A 2.4 to 1 Maybe if it gets to the midpoint, you know, 3-1. I'm really hoping it doesn't just push the target here, but it might. So you can see here how with patience, you know, clear setup sit form, they never were fully executed. I do really want to see a pullback here to this fair value gap here. This fair value gap here is also with the 5-minute bullish breaker. It's lining up with this 1 hour or with this 15-minute inversion. Fair value gap here denoted in pink. A lot of stuff here that's going to be supporting price really nicely if it pushes down lower. So let's hope it doesn't take out these levels. It pulls back lower and then it pushes higher. That's going to be my trade. My confidence is on the higher end of this if it decides to do this. I'm pretty sure the price is just going to shoot up to these levels. I really hope it doesn't, but it just might just use this 6 a.m. Tuesday first presentation and just push higher. It'd be really nice to see like a double top here form or like around a top coming lower and then taking this in for the trade, but taking a trade here would be stupid. Like my stop loss would have like no confidence and staying alive right there. Like price not breaking this level and pushing higher. This is to be a gamble. It'd be a gamble with like a nice risk reward. But that's not something that's in my trading repertoire. Come on, price, turn around here. So dun. 15-second is moving sideways right now. It's kind of consolidating on the upper half of the 6 a.m. Tuesday fair value gap. Did anyone manage to catch this? Because right now, the only thing I see is once this candle closed above, this was the only trade that would have made sense. I was waiting for a bit more. And sometimes when you wait for a bit more, you just lose the trade. Or you don't lose it, but you don't capture it. Yeah, miner is going to get most likely hit here. This did a really good job of respecting price at the upside. Price failed to break down. Didn't catch Claris? Yeah, that's okay. You just gotta follow your rules. I'm going to count this in my journal as a miss here, not taking this long with the stop loss right below this candle. Fairly large though, but it would have been a 2.5 to 1. And the bias here would be the rejections off of the top of the RTH gap, the breakthrough of Monday's first presentation, which ultimately, you know, was respected many times to the downside and finally broke up. That kind of tells you that price is going to fucking go up. So London highs are going to be freaking taken any second now. We're just finishing the 10-10 macro here. All right. So is this a good candidate for London or lunchtime macros? It is, right? So we'll be taking buy side soon. And because we failed to capture this move, very difficult to capture in my opinion. But the only trade here, guys, would be right here. What I said before. Oh, sorry. It'd be right here at the close. Even on the 15-second, I can't really, you know, technically a fair value gap formed, they traded, you know, within it, but the 15 seconds is scary sometimes. Like it tells you something, but really that's not what's happening. But there was definitely, and then 10 a.m. news just took it higher. The retracement. Yeah, good question. I'd have to see how it plays out, to be honest, Claris. Like it's gonna take it any second now. It would be nice to see just take this relative equal low or highs and push lower and leave this intact. That would be nice to see. That might be for further along, but if that does happen, I would wait for the next macro, which is happening at 10:50. Back here. $10.50 to $11.10. I would be hoping price would continue to go higher, and then I would try to find a short, you know, in the lunchtime retracement. That's going to be the highest probability to take a short. So price just look at relative equal highs here. And like what I've also, you know, realized through back testing is like taking shorts like right off of such a bullish push here. You're essentially trying to catch a knife. And you could catch a massive monstrous move, but I think your strike rate's going to be pretty low. So I'm aiming for, you know, a slowdown, a shift in the right time. And that's when I'm going to look for shorts here. But my daily bias is long here. Right now we're pushing into the midpoint of the new week opening gap. Oh. But this was the trade for today here. Bit frustrated that I just didn't, that I wanted it to freaking pull back into this fair value gap, and so just taking it. But what price could have done too? It's, you know, it could have just shot right back down the next candle. So I'm a bit more cautious when it comes to live trading live with you guys here. Is anything else gonna happen today? Let's see. Okay, so we've officially hit buy side. Let's see what the silver bullet's gonna be here. It's gonna be the very first. So it's the first presentation, or it's the first fair value gap after 10 o'clock. I think it's technically this right here. So 10 o'clock is here. Or you know what? This is the silver bullet fair value gap here. So if I were to be shorting price, a good level to hit would be this right here. Safest level, right? But it would have to happen sometime in the future. We do have, let's see what price is going to do here. Let's see price close below it. Let's see how it respects this. And maybe it might make sense for a silver bullet to the downside. But I'm not loving the setup. This was it's what we waited for all morning, this fucking run. But we'll give price like 15 more minutes till 10:30. All right, price touched it, closing below it. This would be the MMS on the 1 minute. I'm not taking this now, guys. I need more from price action here to confirm the direction that it's going to go down here and not just continue going higher. Touch this fair value gap once again. On the 15 second, it's consolidating sideways right now after this drop. Got a high test on the 5 minute here. Took out all the sell side. The 3 to 1. See? It pushes higher in this and this 1 minute closes within this inversion here. Might give me more confidence. As of right now, this might not be a viable trade. We're just too freaking bullish right now. Let's see what I'll do in 24 seconds. So in the next 10 seconds, if this candle just closes right below this, I'll take a short, but it's not going to do that. 3, 2, 1, no. So this is why you wait for solid confirmation before taking shorts here. But unfortunately, fortunately, guys, I think this is a morning where there was a nice setup. More confluence was needed from my end to take it. Needed a bit more. And it just never gave me that. And because I was waiting for 6 pips here, it just ran without me. But that's fine. So I think on that note, guys, you know, we can wait a bit longer to see if we get a retracement. But as of right now, price is very bullish. Took out London highs. And what we're waiting for is to see when PD arrays start failing and it starts reversing ultimately. But this target here would be the target that I'd be aiming for. It is very high. Let's put my eyeball there. Is price going to push all the way to 21,563, which is our draw on the 1 hour? I think it would have to push above the new week opening gap, come back down, use it as an inversion, and then push up price higher. It definitely has a long way to go. It could do it today, it could do it tomorrow. What news do we have tomorrow? Let's see. Tomorrow we have orange folder at 10 a.m. You can see price here went into a fair value gap, touched it, pushed up higher. See, after a move like this on the 5-minute, I think the participation longs are long over. Yeah, I'm definitely journaling this miss here. And like, you have to have in your rules, like in your trading plan. Like in my trading plan, I did want to see it come back to this level and give it one last rejection before going higher. But you know, would it have been enough just taking the trade here? You'd be missing out on how much RR. So this is a 2.5 to 1, and it could have been a 3.5 to 1. So you're missing 1 RR if you were to take it here. And instead you're ending up with a 0 if you don't take it. I'm just gonna map it like this so that I see it in the future. Price would have been taken right there. Or you take this with 50% risk, and when it comes back lower, you scale in. Again, another approach on managing your risk. But right now, the only thing I'm interested in is shorts in the lunch session. So if I were to map it, this is basically shorts lunchtime macro. Marco. So hopefully price is this. It bounces around, and then it finally gives us a retracement to go lower. And the trade that I would be anticipating to happen in the next hour to 2 hours. And you're really waiting for price structure. That's something like this. Oops, push it down lower. But guys, I don't know if we're going to get a... And this retracement might happen earlier, but it usually happens, probably say at least at 1050, right? Trade with time, then price. But if you guys are enjoying the stream, feel free to shoot a like. Unfortunately, we couldn't catch anything. And if we did, you just had to, you know, either modify your trading plan by not waiting for price to go back into a fair value gap. But it definitely ran without us. And it used a 10 a.m. orange folder news just to push to, again, clear levels of buy side liquidity, which is London highs. But I'm going to give this 5 more minutes till 10:30, and then I'll take a quick break. I'm going to go eat breakfast, and then I'll be back on the charts. I might stream again, to be honest, around lunchtime. If I see like A+ setups happening or about to happen, you'll see a random trade from me or a stream. But it's about being patient. you can see price here is, it's respecting this fair value gap that it formed, which means nothing to us. We're not taking it long from here. I wouldn't recommend at least taking it long. Like for shorts to happen earlier than they are right now, we would need to see at least this rejected to the downside, right? So, you know, shorts, let's create some conditions here, right? So we got, you know, for shorts, you know, 1, London highs taken. 2, you know, trading in new week opening gap midpoint, right? You know, could reject this level. 3, you know, bullish New York session, you know, which is 4, you know, waiting for the right time for reversal. 5, target the first fair value gap after 10 a.m. hasn't been traded equals good target. Okay. And then number 6, just we're waiting for, you know, time, then price, and then use, you know, maybe like an IFEG plus MMS to essentially try to attack this level, right? Short. So like that's going to be ultimately the criteria for taking shorts here. You can see we're trading right now into, let me look at the 4-hour here. Right. So like, do I see price rejecting this level here? I do, right? We're in this week's new opening gap. Price can definitely start stalling and start pushing lower. And then we kind of capture it when it gets to the low end. So could happen. You just have to be patient here. That's it. Claris, I wouldn't take it long. The 1-hour candle extended too much on 15-minute. I would, exactly. It's a retracement, and these retracements happen almost every day. The size of them is different day over day. Let's look at some examples here for retracements. Okay, so let's look at Monday's a weird day. Let's ignore Monday. Okay. Let's look at Friday's price action. Worst 9:30. Okay, so 9:30 opened up right here. Let's create a vertical line. Okay, I have it. You know, it opened. You know, pushed higher. It created. See, so these are trades that we want to take, and I took this trade. Okay. It created a huge buy side liquidity pool. Okay. And look what price did. Came back lower. It rejected the first presentation of Friday. Came up higher. It displaced. And then the trade was taken when it came back into that displacement. Okay. So this was like a 2.5 to 1 for me. Yeah. This was the trade. Okay. This A+ setup, and this is how you use first presentations. Here you can see on the open it's messy, right? You know, closed below it, closed above it, it pushed higher, but like we had no real target in mind. Maybe this right here, right? Which eventually got tagged. But this is what we're waiting for. Trades like this, and my model trades into using these key levels, right? Rejection, market structure shift. But did we have retracement here at 11:30? You know, we did, right? You know, at 11:30 it ran down a bit to this fair value gap, but again, not a good example. Let's look at Thursday here. What's price doing? It's still above that blue FEG here, so we still got time. Let's see here. Checking one thing from my end. Everything's okay. Okay, Thursday's first presentation. Okay, so we opened up right here at 9:30. We opened up, came back down, rejected. And you can see here in this example, at 11:30, we're fairly close to the open, right? So is this a good candidate for a lunchtime reversal? It isn't. But again, looking at this first presentation for a value gap, you got your displacement off of it, it trades into it, and then it pushes higher. Okay. This is like the easiest way to trade it. Trading it like here at the 9:30, it's tough. Like I'm gonna get chopped out. So I think Claris's rule for like not trading before 10 a.m. I think it's fairly safe. Like if you guys aren't consistent, I think it's very difficult trading. I stopped trading at 9:30 personally. I was making net negative money and I decided to cut that. I make more money in Asia after 10 a.m. in the afternoon, but like right when the market opens, it's choppy waters. It's tough. It's when everyone starts trading. So that's what the market would want to do. Let's look at Wednesday here. I can't find a good example of a lunchtime reversal. Sorry, guys. Wednesday, 9 o'clock. So Wednesday was fairly flat. Thursday. But anyways, I'll find some good examples. I'll make a video on lunchtime reversals, but this would be a candidate for a lunchtime reversal here. And you can see here, like price is kind of chugging. It's, you know, like this is nice. It's a slowdown, right? It's not aggressively pushing up higher. It pushed above the new week's opening gap midpoint, but that's fine. Next level of liquidity that it needs to hit is really far off. So I'm anticipating a retracement at some point, and that's what we'll take. But on this point, on this note, guys, nothing is happening. It's 10:32, and I'm gonna close it off. If I see something good, I will send it off, or I'll just start a live stream in an hour, catching a short live. Without further ado, if you guys like the stream, feel free to drop a like. And on that note, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Talk soon, guys. Take care and safe trading.